I haven't asked you, other than you kind of volunteered. You were there and saw all the workout on all the field time that the media was allowed to see. You were there for all of it. Who stood out to you? Who when you were watching practice, what did you like? I mean, you mentioned Garendo, but is there anybody else that you could mention that you really were impressed by?
Well, and the other thing I'd add on Garendo is they weren't wearing pads. So a running back, when there's no pads, I have no idea if he can run the ball. Right.
I don't even evaluate running backs in practice. To me, it's you got to wait till the preseason.
Well, to me, the reason I bring him up is I thought he caught a couple balls that were not just that he had to make an athletic move on, catch the ball, turn up field. You know, even though you're not getting hit, bodies around you can be distracting. Danny Gray had a ball over the middle that he did not catch. Bodies around him had to go up high. I also thought that before he didn't catch the ball, Danny Gray had a pretty good practice. As someone who had basically given up on Danny Gray, in that I came out of that practice and one of my takeaways was, well, let's see. Maybe Danny's going to be able to put up a fight here with some of these other guys. Let's see. So I'm like, you know, I go out, I circle guys. Who am I really watching today? Let me make sure that I watch each of these guys, and I will keep an eye on 6. I thought Renardo Green made a nice play at the end of practice on Deebo. That there was initially a flag thrown, then they picked it up. I thought it was a really good play. It's tough to kind of get around Deebo and break up a pass without creating contact, and Deebo is strong with his hands at that point, and Green was able to make the play on him. So I thought that was impressive. You know, obviously Ricky got a lot of run. Somebody asked the question. That was a good question. I think it's true. You know, the loss of not having Jennings and Ayuk there, and even Cowing the other day, that sucks. But for Ricky Pearsall, it means more reps. And I thought he just looked like I said earlier, kind of like he is a high floor guy. He looked comfortable catching punts on what was a breezy day. Rock Ya-Sin made a nice pass breakup on him, so he didn't catch it. It wasn't a perfect day. Made a nice sliding catch deep over the middle, separated from Ambry Thomas, came back to a ball like 20 yards down the field, made a nice catch. So I just thought he looked like he fit. So those were my specifics. I don't know about you. I didn't spend much time watching the offensive line. I did think just both the offensive line and defensive line groups just looked big. Gross Matos is big. You know, he just fits in. He kind of replaces that Armstead body type. He does. The offensive
line, I thought, not to interrupt you, the offensive line I thought looked way more athletically explosive than the group that I saw practice throughout the year.
Did you watch much of Pooney?
I did.
Tell me.
I love the combination of the tenacity and the feet. He's got good tenacity. He's looking to, he likes the contact and he drives the feet. And to me, I thought he looked good. I thought Nugent is a good looking player as far as
you like Nugent.
Center who, undrafted center. Brendel's now got knee tendonitis, and it sounds like Feliciano may play some center. But
did Kyle say tendonitis or arthritis?
There was tendonitis.
Oh, okay.
But I could check that. But yeah, I just think Brendel could get a run for his job. I like, to me, the other guy that still stands out.
That's tough though, Larry. A rookie center.
I know, but Nugent is, went to Stanford, very smart, and then was all Big Ten first team center. And he's got some traits. He's smart. He's broad. He looks like he can handle some power, I think speed guys are going to bother him a little bit, but there aren't that many speed guys in the interior in the NFL. There's a lot of big bodied guys that are strong. So you got to be strong. I like Nugent. And to me, all three of there's 4 new offensive linemen. Mays is the only one that to me just looks developmental. Pooney looks like a starter. Kingston looks like a starter. Nugent to me looks like a starter. Now, maybe not right away, but those guys look like starters in the NFL to me, just from from watching him. But I really like Pooney. I like the upper body strength. I like the way that his attitude is like, hey, I want to bury guys.
Yeah. It was tendonitis. I checked. Which is good. I have the transcript. I wondered why no one else was alarmed by arthritis, but because he didn't say arthritis. He said arthritis, and I looked at him like, is nobody else alarmed by that? Like, no, okay, no one's alarmed.
Suddenly he's wearing copper bracelets and necklaces and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it helps with my arthritis.
It happens at a young age when you play sports.
He's Jake Brendel. We just bought him the clapper. Clap on, clap off.
I had one of those in college. Yeah, my buddy AJ got one for the apartment. We had all kinds of in college. We had walkie-talkies. We lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. We had walkie-talkies. I did want to say. I said this.
Don't even think about coming in here.
The problem is the battery dies, and you can't leave it on. You realize it's a stupid idea. I thought
who else stood out? You're looking at your notes. What do you got?
I thought I've got several things. I thought Deebo looked good. I thought
wearing
Deebo,
the number 1. I thought he looked like, to me, he looked like he was trying to go at 3/4 speed.
Yes, except for when he catches the ball and then he can't help but explode.
Yeah.
And even though he was at 3/4 speed, he still got to the ball and I thought he did things, even though he wasn't sprinting through every route. But if you really watch these guys, not every route is, especially when it's like they do the route with no defense, whatever that drill's called. No one's running up. It's not a full speed. But I thought he was precise. I did think he looked precise. I have more.
Go ahead. Empty the clip.
No. I have more stock in him than I'm not going to. I did everything. I don't want people to rehear the same crap I've already done, but
you don't want to rehash old material.
I don't want to rehash old material.
I'll say this. Another guy that just every time I watch him, I love him more is Malik Mustafa.
Yeah.
I really like him. I think he's going to be the guy. If you said to me, give me one guy that the Niners acquired this offseason that you think can make a Pro Bowl, I'd go with him.
There's such opportunity for him. I think safety is such an interesting position for the Niners in the preseason because they've drafted 2 guys that they thought would be starters, but one of them's hurt and one of them, Jair Brown, we'll see, Hufanga being the other. So I think Mustafa really has an opportunity. Okay, you found it. Lindsey Prala said arthritis. I heard arthritis in that meeting, but I just checked the official transcript and it says tendonitis. It's possible Kyle said arthritis and meant tendonitis and they changed it in the transcript, or maybe Lindsey and I both. It might have been a question I can't remember, but it's not it does happen, right? So
she does a good job too. I don't know, but I mean, it is tendonitis. But man, arthritis, Jake Brendel getting old. Okay. Is there anybody else that you want to throw out that really looked good to you that you noticed? I thought Dobbs looked really, really athletic. I just didn't think of him as quite that good of a mover, but there's no doubt that guy's an athlete. He can move.
Yeah.
I don't know if he can throw. I don't know what kind of quarterback he is, but he can really move. He looks really smooth. He looks really smooth.
Devondre Campbell taller than I realized in person.
I thought it was interesting too when the group came together for the huddle. He stayed out of the huddle. Maybe he just feels like an outsider because he came from Green Bay. It's early. Is that
what you're supposed to do when you're an outsider?
I don't know. It was weird. It was like, here's a guy that just first practice with the team. They're all huddling up and he's ran over there, but then ran to like 10 feet away from the huddle and wasn't part of it. Probably means nothing. Maybe
he's in the protocol.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe there's issues there. I did like the fact that when I talked to Clay Kubiak, he said that Pearsall, that one of the things they really liked about Pearsall is they liked his toughness and how he can separate pretty much at will. That he's got the ability with footwork and nuance route running.
Did you feel that way watching
separate? I do. I definitely, and I told Kubiak, I said, here, my concern is that it's not that he can't separate, it's that he can't maintain the separation when he starts running down the field. I
But
think
I
he
mean,
can separate at the line.
on Tuesday, Larry, did you feel like he was separating at will?
Well, I think I'm not really worried about the practice because it's practice. I'm just looking at the footwork, and I like the footwork, and I like the stop and start. I like the body control. He seems like a guy in a short area that is, my comp is Danny Amendola. I see Danny Amendola. I see a guy that, he can run those little whip routes, and he's just gonna be a really tough guy for any corner that has any real size. It's going to be really difficult to mirror Pearsall. Now, if you're McDuffie from the Chiefs and you're smaller and you've got unbelievable athleticism, it might be impossible for Pearsall to separate from you. But for like big corners who have a little length to them, I think they're going to have a hard time with this guy. He's got really good body control, and he's got a lot of that fluidity. He's got those head and shoulder fakes.
Yes.
You can see that he's got short area separation written all over him. And that was my question. Can he get off the line? Is he tough? And Kubiak said, they really loved his toughness and his ability to separate. So
he looked the way I expected him to look, which is good. Like I thought he really looked like he belonged.